tidings we bring to you and your kin. Good tidings of Christmas and a happy New Year. Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And bring us some figgy.
It's great to be a part of a wider event in the city of Fort Wayne, the shop downtown, the Holly Trolley. We've noticed a lot of folks getting off the trolley and coming to the fort, waiting for the trolley to come and going on to other locations around downtown Fort Wayne. And it's really great to be a part of that, to bring living history and our sutlers and reenactors and vendors that have handcrafted crafts, woven goods, textiles, homemade pottery and wooden items, hand-roasted coffees from a local vendor. So it's fun to be a part of that event, the Holly Trolley, downtown Fort Wayne.
Do you want to say anything about the fort while you're on camera?
This is our second Christmas at the fort in many years. Last year was our first year, kind of a building year, and we had just one room. And this year, 2012, all of the buildings, all the downstairs rooms are filled with people who have brought their handcrafted items and their craft to demonstrate, and reenactors to bring living history to historic Fort Wayne as a part of the Shop Downtown Holly Trolley event here. Very seasonable weather. It's nice, but the layers of wool help fortify me against the cold, and I haven't heard one person complain. And I've seen people huddle up to the roaring fires in the buildings, and we even had have a watch fire out in the open on the grounds. We've had a great day today here at historic Fort Wayne.
Happy? All right. what you're doing here?
Well, I'm a bowl carver. And as far as my persona, I'm a French habitant, or colonist, permanent settler of New France. We had a presence here at Fort Wayne from early in the 1700s until the British won the 7 Years' War in 1760, and we were here at Fort Wayne for any other white folks.
Start to finish, how long does it take to make one of those?
Start to finish, one this size, maybe 6 hours. And I start with a tree. So I'm going way back to the beginning with it. A lot of times cut the tree down, which is necessary because it's green woodworking. You know, I couldn't go to the lumber company and find green wood, so I've either got to cut a tree down or beat Johnny on the spot when somebody does.
Is there a preferred sort of wood to use for this sort of thing?
I like fine-grained hardwoods, of which cherry and walnut are my favorites. They're beautiful woods, and if you're going to put this kind of time into something, it's nice that it's a beautiful hardwood.
Now, would you say that device of yours is more of an axe or a hammer?
It's called an adze.
An adze?
An adze. Some people call it a hammer adze because you use it like a hammer or a hatchet or something, but as opposed to a foot adze, which had a long handle like an axe, and it had a bit on it that was more flat, and you would stand over a log and hew timber, swinging it between your legs. The hand adze was used for various things. Besides carving dough bowls, coopers would use a hand adze to make the staves for barrels and buckets, gutters, things like that. They have a long history.
Is there a specific wood that you look for to make stuff like this?
I like fine-grained hardwood, so that means I wouldn't use oak or hickory or ash. They're a coarser grain. If need be, this would hold liquid that wouldn't seep out, where the coarser grain wood, it would. And then of those fine grain hardwoods, I really gravitate to walnut and cherry.
And when you finish that, will you treat it? Will you soak it?
Well, it's green already. I work it green, so I'll dry it real slowly, covering it mainly in wood chips, and dry it real slow for 2 months. Then a very light sanding, and then I oil it. Mineral oil or something similar. It's not, it's not a varnish, so you got to nourish it with oil every so often. Keep it from getting too dry and cracking. You can look at the ones inside there and see that they've been oiled, which gives them a little bit of a gloss and deepens the color. Are you doing this for your own interest,
I'm
or
doing this. Bob Jones requested that my company come down and videotape. I'm with Access Fort Wayne. We do public access here in Allen County. This will be airing on channel 55 or 57 on Comcast in the upcoming weeks. But
I've seen some things on programs
you've got a lot of local
that
content.
Access seems to ring a bell for me.
All right. May I ask your name, please, so we can.
Tim Guy.
Spelled the way it sounds?
G-U-Y, yes.
Alrighty.
Guy. Guy in French.
Guy.
Guy.
So you're doing this out of love
English
for you.
pronunciation is Guy, the same word as Guy in French. And I portray a French, like I said, habitant or colonist, settler of New France. That's my persona in the reenacting world. And I do militia, French militia, so I'm a milician. We come out for our event in January here. It's a French winter garrison, it's called. We're portraying the year 1753 this year. It's the last weekend in January. So there'll be French soldiers as well as milice, which is militia. It's a really neat event. Been doing it now for several years. We started with, I think, 1749, and we're up to portraying 1753. So we portray what's going on here at Fort Miami's in 1753. And it was a great year for us because the British were making inroads in this part of New France, and an army from Detroit went down and destroyed the English stronghold at Pickawillany over in Ohio. The English all fled, and the Sauvage came back to the French way of thinking. So it's a year, 1753 is a year of celebration for the French in this part of the world.
Make sure to put something in the program about it.
Well, that's the winter event. That's the thing we do late January. This is, well, there should be something in the program advertising that as an upcoming event. I don't know if it is or not.
Thank you, sir.
I'm finishing the yarn up by putting two threads together and untwisting them around each other to make a 2-ply yarn. And then from there I'll shrink the yarn and then I will knit it or weave it. This is actually going to be going into mittens. So everything that I do, I start with making the yarn first, and then either knitting it or weaving it. We start with the wool right off the sheet and take off anything we see that we don't like, and then we will clean it, wash it some more, and then clean it some, and then I take it to a carding mill and I run it through a carding machine, and it comes out in a very long woolly worm, very soft and fuzzy. And then I will spin it into yarn, and then I knit it or weave it. So I can make all kinds of things like mittens and socks and hats and gloves and even material. I weave my own material, make my own linsey woolsey material and weave that. It's a little bit warmer than straight cotton.
What can you do for the itch to make it a little bit softer?
I use wool from sheep that's been bred for the wool and not for the meat. Sheep that's been bred for the wool is not near so scratchy. And meat sheep, their main product is the meat, and so the byproduct is just the wool. So it is a lot scratchy. So I prefer to use wool from sheep that's been bred for the wool. That way I'm starting out with a much softer product.
Being period proper would be, if you were period proper, would you have raised your own sheep or would you have bought them?
Usually you raise your own sheep, but there was lots of bartering and things like that. So lots of times, it's just like nowadays, some people are better at one thing than other people, and not everyone is good at everything else. So like, there would be spinsters who would actually professionally spin yarn, and they would take in other people's wool and spin it to yarn for them, and then send it to somebody to have a blow or a knit or something like that. Sometimes the blacksmith or the carpenter's wife wasn't really good at spinning, so we would trade a little bit of carpentry or blacksmithing and trade for spinning.
Did you make the blanket that's hanging up behind you?
Yes, I did. I saw he had spun and I made the coverlet. I got over my arms. I made the shawl that I got, the muffs on. I actually wove the material for the dresses.
Hey, trick or treat, Santa Claus.
So I spun the wool, threaded the loom with ribbon threads, and then I wove in my hand spun wool to finish the material. And I cut it up and made my own outfit.
May I ask your name?
My name is Karen Hayman, and the business is Shopping Publications. I've been spinning for probably around 20 years. And yes, I have little family daughters. They know how to spin, they all know how to knit, they know how to weave, they all know how to cook, they know how to cook with fire.
In a can.
The wheel that I use is a Canadian production mill that's around 100 years old. So it's not quite back to the 1700s, but it's an old one.
She sales, I'm just labor.
Ah.
I make. Demonstrating something called a butterbell right now. It's a 200-year-old
Very cool. You empty it out.
pioneer idea that kept butter fresh. Kept the butter and the arrow on it. And that's what she demonstrated.
You got like a buy multiple discount?
We're at Christmas at the Fort, and it's appropriately cold. The only event we've had all year where it hasn't been ungodly hot.
Yes,
Yeah. So we got our comeuppance.
Yes.
We complained all summer, and now we can see our breath.
The layers of wool are really coming in handy.
It's working now, isn't it?
It's working, is right.
Yeah. I saw Denny standing in the gatehouse. That's usually the coolest spot in the place because there's always a little bit of air moving through it. There's air moving through it now,
Oh,
too.
yes.
Except
And the public is turning out in good numbers. It's been very gratifying
Yes.
to see, especially families with children enjoying the making of ornaments and enjoying the stories
Absolutely.
of the reenactors and crafters that are here today at Historic Fort Wayne.
Oh, absolutely. And I have to admit, I was surprised. I thought that the people of Fort Wayne would be not made of sterner stuff. 'Cause it
Busy
was so
shopping.
cold.
or
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
but, wow, they've turned out in good numbers.
They
today.
certainly have. And it's worth the effort.
A roaring fire just does wonders.
Yes, it does. The buildings are warm.
Yes.
Yeah.